much. I'm very pleased to be part of this symposium, and I hope that my participation could actually make some contribution on this great event. I should thank the organizers and the team that made this event possible. Today, I would actually be speaking about technology and how modern technology influence the industrial revolution. Scientists and relevant organizations urge us to reduce greenhouse gases emissions and adapt to the change that are already occurring if we want to prevent the worst impact of climate change. This implies that the main culprit of the current global warming is the combustion of fossil fuels, such as oil, gas, and coal. When we burn fossil fuels, we emit carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the air, which everybody knows. This trap heat that would otherwise have from the Earth to the outer space. This is known as the greenhouse effect. The greenhouse effect is essential for our life, though. But what we are talking about is the too much of that gas. The extra gas that we don't want is what we know as the enhanced greenhouse effect, and it is the main cause of the climate change. Human activities, however, that cause climate change include industries, agriculture, deforestation, transportation, heating, and there's quite a few lists of that. These activities also release greenhouse gases and lower the ability of the atmosphere to absorb them. But they are the source of our human development and our life. They are this main sort of our modern progress. So what we see today in Exhibit 2, the world is facing a dilemma. The dilemma is to strike balance between the economic growth and the climate preservations. The world faces the dilemma between the need of economic growth and the technology associated with it on one hand, and the avoidance of climate disruption and the expected disasters that we see today. All governments are looking for possible solutions. Each government or group of governments has an agenda that they find more suitable than others. Even the United Nations protocols and agreements gave governments the right to determine their participation in the global solution. Between those who believe that renewable energy can replace fossil fuels by the mid of the century, 2050, and those others who oppose the possibility of having enough clean energy in such a short period of time, the solution lies. And that would bring the big question in Exhibit 3. Can renewable energy replace fossil fuel by the mid of the century? This is the most popular and debatable question, as of we speak, probably in the whole history of mankind. Supporters believe that with advancement in technology and the rapid progress of renewable industry, solar, wind, and our hydrogen today, it is possible to phase out fossil fuels and replace it with renewable. While opponents argue that the transition to clean energy, such as in such a short time, is unrealistic. They also argue that there is some concern about the scalability and the reliability of renewable energy sources. In some cases, some material do not exist or will not be existing in a decade. The debate, very much legitimate though, and worth considering, as the implication is really serious. It is a global implication and it is extremely serious. Now, in Exhibit 4, I have actually gathered some data that shows where we are. And I'm in with this data between the year 2010 and 2020, simply because I wanted to remove the COVID effect of on the data that we can look into. The data from the IRENA and the IEA shows that renewable energy increased only by 3% between 2010 and 2020. On the other hand, the concentration of carbon dioxide as a result of burning fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and gas, and actually the mixture of hydrogen as well and the leakage of it, the concentration during the last decade has risen from 389 to 411. And that is about an increase of 18% on the consumption of energy. So with the consumption of 18% and renewable within the same period really represent 3%, there is a problem. That means that we really need to deal with carbon dioxide probably in a different manner. We've been hammering carbon dioxide for the last at least decade or so. And today, I think we really need to accept the fact that carbon dioxide, fossil fuel generally, is here to stay till the end of the last drop of it. Probably in Exhibit 5, we can see that there are many potential ways to use carbon dioxide to create valuable products or services. These are called carbon dioxide utilization or carbon capturing and utilization. And there are many examples. I just came on this exhibit with a few. Carbon neutral fuel could actually be useful as a carbon dioxide, as a captured carbon dioxide, whether it's from the atmosphere or from any other source. Chemical synthesis, a process which carbon dioxide is converted into a wide range of products, polymer, plastics, fertilizers, and also some medical, pharmaceutical use. Building material, also as part of the carbon dioxide that can be used to produce materials such as aggregate, concrete, and also bricks. And the agriculture, where we get some contribution, also carbon dioxide can also be used to enhance the yield of biological process and some animal feed. Something that we always forget, that the diamond is also an ultra of carbon dioxide, which means it is one of the forms of carbon that can take. The manufacturing of natural diamond is also possible by simulating the high pressure and high atmosphere and probably high depth that it requires for natural diamond is also an option. So there are so many usages that one can think of, and the industry could actually assist us with. and we can also make carbon dioxide, again, a bioproduct that we can utilize in future industry. There are many other options, really, but these are the ones that I managed to get. Now, what is the path forward in addressing the climate change? And that is in Exhibit 6, lovely. There are quite a few, but I can think of shifting priorities as one of them. The prevailing capitalist ideals focused on on maximizing profitability have contributed to unsustainable practice and hindered the effectiveness of our climate change and mitigation. So that is one of the things that we really need to consider. Mindset transformation. To address climate change, a shift in mindset is crucial, placing sustainability and long-term environmental well-being at the front of our decision-making, rather than making it as we think of it, thought of it during the last decade or so. Now, the part that I have always speak about when I lecture anywhere, the research institutions and universities, that we actually really leave them behind, and the file has been given to probably politicians rather than institutions. So leading research institutions and activities or universities should actually play a crucial part in giving us solutions, technical solutions that could actually lead us, rather than swifting from an example that we might be thinking of hydrogen as an example, where we started with I call it the color of the rainbow. We've been talking about hydrogen, and we are trying all kind of a gas that we don't have it on Earth as a gas. The latest paper that I have read a couple of days ago that really indicate that the leaks of oxygen is 12 times contributor as carbon dioxide. So we really simply because it is a result of the industry, rather than it's the result of looking into research and development issue. Also, education and awareness. Promoting climate literacy and raising awareness about the urgency and importance of addressing climate change can facilitate the necessary mindset transmission. Without transferring the mind of people, youth particularly, the problem would remain with us, and we would still think that there would be an option that we can have to address renewables and fight carbon dioxide. Also, the long-term vision that we should have in addressing climate change. In the 2015, when Paris Agreement was initiated or approved in principles, there are more than 60 scientists who believed that the 1.5 that Rania was speaking about early and in this particular event would definitely be not a target, because we crossed it a long time ago. But we still insisted that the 1.5 is our target, simply because I believe that the long-term vision was not there at that time. The vision is to shift from compulsory protocol into a protocol that could actually be given to governments, and these governments would decide what to do during the the next century or so. So the stock take that we would be viewing in Dubai COP or in the COP 28 would actually indicate how far we crossed the limit of 1.5, and definitely they spoke about that they would not actually look into who committed with their indices and who didn't, but eventually what we read as of today that the limit of 1.5 has been crossed a long time ago. These are some thought that I shared it with you, and I hope that I haven't taken across the time that allocated to me. And thank you very much. And I hope that our symposium make that impact that we all are looking for. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for a very insightful keynote speech and presentation. Thank you so much. We have a question from the participants, from Dr. Raghavendra. And the question is, Your Excellency, how to optimize the cost implications on renewable installations and what actions to be taken to take non-conventional energy sources feasible over conventional energy sources.
I couldn't get the question. I'm sorry.
So the question is how to optimize the cost implications on renewable installations and what actions to be taken to make unconventional energy sources feasible over conventional energy sources.
With this, according to IRENA, that the more we use, the more the use of the non-conventional or renewable, and then when you capitalize on the mass of product, you would probably come up with a renewable that is competitive. To my understanding, I don't think that in a foreseeable time we can see any renewable source feasible and comparable to a very less expensive fuel today. If we compare fossil fuel today, gas, and others, we find it competitive. However, when we look into the renewables, we face problems with the not only the cost of it, but the availability of it. Today, I'm actually publishing a paper probably next week, looking into, I say that fossil fuel will be with us for the till the last drop of it, simply because there are good reasons. One of them, that the material that we use may not be available today. In 10 years' time, the material are available probably in certain areas, and particularly materials are available in China. Now, do we, or did the West want to push China economy higher or not is also debatable. So the material is not available. The possible options of having hydrogen that we thought that could actually be a good media for us is also showing that it is immature to use. So I believe that the cost is a very minute on this. The issue is whether these renewables are going to be available with us for the next century or not.
Thank you very much. I hope that answers the audience's question. Thank you very much for your answer. We have just one more question, Your Excellency. The question is, how receptive by others have you found your comments about the 1.5 degrees being crossed some time ago?
Very receptive, particularly with those scientists who were associated with the climate change and in a global format. Most of scientists believe that this is a problem, and really the stock take would demonstrate that. Recently I read few papers from various academic research institutions that shows the same. Today, what you see if we look into only in Fujairah, and what we see of the sea rise is something that shows that we are in a problem. What we see in all the low islands in the east also showing some indications that there are islands that will disappear. I was in Egypt a couple of months ago, and we were talking about our beautiful city of Alexandria that has a problem that we are not looking into very seriously, and we assume that business is normal, and this city would remain with us. If we do not really look into this issue very seriously, many islands and many cities, many oceans would actually, we know that our infrastructure is actually based on coasts. 90% are coastal. 90% of our infrastructure is coastal. And if we do not believe science that this devastating climate change would eat up our not only us, would eat up the ability of us to communicate if our infrastructure has been vanished from the sea rise.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for a very interesting and insightful speech and some brilliant answers. I guess now we will move and we're going to cover the next sector of